Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jojo and Football. This is the Win, Draw, Lose show. Okay, so this is game week 3, and we are going to get into our Premier League predictions. So let's go. First game of the game week starts tomorrow, or should I say today, Friday night. That's Chelsea versus Luton Town. I think Chelsea will like that's going to be the most obvious win for them in the season. Like very obvious. It should be very straightforward. So if anything else happens, well, that will be a disaster. So I think Chelsea will win that. Chelsea at home, they've gotten very many signings. They've just signed another striker. Luton Town just don't look to have Premier League quality players. So let's see how they perform against Chelsea. But I'll give that to Chelsea. That's a win for Chelsea. Second game, Saturday, Bournemouth versus Tottenham. So I think Bournemouth made a mistake, like to let Gary O'Neill leave. But I feel like the way they play, they create some chances, they create moments. So I think also the way Tottenham plays, Bournemouth will surely get some chances against Tottenham. So that's one that to watch out for. I think I'll give it a draw, but then I'll also say maybe Tottenham has good chance of winning the game. But I'm going to give it a draw. Third game will be Arsenal versus Fulham. Arsenal they've they've won both games, the two games, so they have 6 points from the available 6 points. So that's a good start. Um, but they, if you watch, they've had shaky moments in those games, but they've still managed to win. So they can only get better. I think they'll win this game, and they'll be much better than they were in the first two games. So yeah, I'll give that to Arsenal. That's an Arsenal win. Fulham, they really have a big issue with the striker. Uh, the striker that they brought in is not as good as the striker that has left, Mitrovic. So that will be a problem for them. I don't think they'll really be. I don't think they'll like scare teams as they did last season. So that's something to look at. So that's an Arsenal win. Next, Brentford versus Crystal Palace. So Brentford are firing. Like they are playing very well, very very good counter-attacking and transitional football. Um, they almost look like they don't need Ivan Toney. Like he was their top scorer last season, but they look like they don't need him at the moment. So they've really started their season off well. Crystal Palace are, yeah. The football they're playing is good. They create moments. They create good chances. They maybe they're missing Elise. Um, so but they are a well structured team, and they really defend well. So I think this is going to be a draw. That's what I would give it, a draw. So maybe both teams maybe score, but I'll give it a draw. Next game, Everton versus Wolves. Everton, Everton are scary. That like it just it's a very big team, but I don't know. I don't know what the owners think. The football they're playing is very boring. I think the fans are going to get tired of the football like very very soon. Mm, they are conceding goals, so that means they're not like they miss because they normal the plan with them is normally nick a goal and try and win it 1-0, something like this, and that's the score I'm going to give them. I think they'll win this game by like 1-0. So I'll go with Everton winning this game against Wolves, because Wolves, they played well the first game, but then the second game, Brighton just rinsed them. They were nowhere to be seen, and but it's funny that they also hit, I think, the woodwork a number of times against the Brighton game. So they just can't finish. They really have a problem with finishing. So I think against this Everton game, I think Everton are at home. They'll try and express themselves a little bit. I don't know if their striker is okay, Calvert Lewin. I don't know if he's okay. But I think Everton will win this by one goal, like one nil. That's what I would go for. Next game is Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. So Manchester United have had a shaky start to the season, much similar to the previous season, but they have just 3 more points than they did last season. I think United they lost to Tottenham last game week. So I think this game week they're going to have a reaction. The players are going to have a reaction, and Nottingham Forest is like, let's say, a good team to have the reaction against. If it's like an Arsenal or Brighton that are coming up next, that's a bit of a different story to have a reaction against. So I think United will win this game. Nottingham Forest, they've started the season well. They got one win against Sheffield United, and they lost against Arsenal, but they played well for some moments in that game. So I think they'll also give us a game, but I think we shall be too strong or too much for them. So I think we shall win that. Um, next game, Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton, like we've all seen the score. It's almost like they're scoring goals for fun. Mitoma is becoming a superstar. So Brighton are like the team to watch. So I think they'll win this game against West Ham. West Ham are an interesting team. They can shock any team, I think. And maybe one of the things to watch out for West Ham are set pieces. What Prowse is very, very, very good at this. So I think they're going to start looking to get set pieces. They're going to try and get set pieces at nice, like in certain places, and even corners they're going to be very good at those. I think they'll score most game weeks. They'll score goals from corners. I think so. So it's not very straightforward for Brighton, but I think Brighton will win. I don't think they'll score again 5 or 4 goals, but I think they'll win the game. Yeah. So again, so then we go to Sunday's games. Burnley versus Aston Villa. So Burnley, I think that they're going to be a team that will try and play like the way they played against Man City. So try and play the eye-catchy football. That's good for the fans, so that entertain the fans and things like this. But I think Aston Villa will be too much for them. So I think Aston Villa will win the game. Burnley at home, but I think Aston Villa will win the game. Meanwhile, Burnley had a game against United behind closed doors, I think yesterday, and Burnley won by, is it 3 goals? So anyway, that's a training game, something not serious game, but yeah, I don't know if that implies anything into the game they'll be having on Sunday, but I think Aston Villa will be too strong for them. Emery and because look at Aston Villa, the first game they had against Newcastle, they got beaten by a good number of goals. Like if you looked at the score sheet, you'd think Aston Villa were rubbish in this game. But if you watch the game, they had really good chances. They just weren't taking their chances. Second game, they had a very good reaction, and like what's up. So I think this third game they'll keep up the momentum and they'll try and win away from home. Their first game away from home. So I think that Aston Villa will win that. Next game on Sunday, boring game. Sheffield United versus Manchester City. Uh, well, Pep won't be on the touchline for this game. I don't think that matters a lot because it's Sheffield United. If it was against another team, maybe Liverpool, Arsenal, or United, yeah, you look at this as an advantage for the other team. But Sheffield United, I don't think. I think even second team of Manchester City would do okay against Sheffield United without Pep. So that's a game also that we'll have to watch or have to see what happens in that game. But then I just think Man City will win that one. I'll, this I have to give to Man City. I don't want to give Man City any winning predictions, but this one, yeah, they'll win. My fantasy, I think I'll have to captain Haaland. So yeah, this I'll give to Sheffield. I sorry, I'll give to Manchester City. A win for them. Then the last game of the game week, which I think is going to be the most interesting game, or the game that we're just going to be waiting to like watch, is going to be Newcastle versus Liverpool. So Newcastle disappointed a bit for personally in in game week 2 when they played Manchester City. They lost by 1 goal, which is not that bad, but then I feel like they kind of stayed in their shell. They didn't fully like express themselves, and I know they're away from home, but they express themselves against Aston Villa, and it's okay. It's a different side, different. The play is different, but I just feel they had more to offer than they offered. So hopefully in this game they can really express themselves against Liverpool, and they're at home. So I'm going to give this to Newcastle. So it's going to be a Newcastle win. And Liverpool, um, they were going to really have an issue with the midfield. McAllister's red card got rescinded. So that's interesting. So that's very interesting. But then yeah, that happened. So I think he will start and he'll be crucial for them. And but still, I think they'll have spaces in the midfield. I think they still have a problem with their midfield. It's not really like settled and so yeah, Newcastle to win that. So those are our predictions for game week 3. So share yours in the comments. Like the video, share the video, and let's see how many we get right. Last game week we really did poorly, but I have a good feeling this game week we're going to really do well with the predictions. So thank you for watching. See ya.